Why are you braking? There's no stop here. Do you guys see a stop? Bro, I'm telling you, people are fried. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Another video here today, and I figured we were going to talk about something different, something a little bit more niche, but it's something that I'm very passionate about, as we're stuck here in the red light just waiting for it to turn green, because I figured why not talk about it if we're passionate about it, even though it might reach a smaller audience, right? Doesn't mean we shouldn't make a video about it. And so today's video is about a sport that I'm very passionate about, called Formula One. Given that the season just ended, I just watched the final race in Abu Dhabi, where Charles Leclerc probably drove the best race of his career. And I figured it was a great time to make a video about Formula One, given that the season is over, so that next year when the season starts, we can kind of make these update videos every week, talking about Formula One and everything that's happening in Formula One. So I figured if you click this video, you have some interest in Formula One, so you kind of know the basics of how things work. We're just gonna go for a lovely drive. The weather is fantastic down here today, 76 degrees, very little humidity, perfect day to go riding until the sun goes down. Once the sun goes down, it gets a little bit too cold for me, especially not wearing a sweater or anything like that. But yeah, so the season just ended, and it was kind of like a nerve-wracking last race. Okay, so first and foremost, before I even get started, I want to state my affiliations. And for me, I've been watching Formula One since 2017. I started watching literally the year after. I started watching religiously the year after Nico Rosberg won his championship in 2016 from Sir Lewis Hamilton. So I watched some races on and off, but I didn't watch the whole season in 2016. And 2017 was the year that I started really watching more intensely. And I believe that's actually the first season that Max Verstappen joined Formula One at the ripe age of 17 years old. He was the youngest Formula One driver at the time, and will forever remain the youngest Formula One driver ever, because they changed the rule after he joined Formula One. Anyways, I've always been a Ferrari fanboy, I'm not even gonna lie. It probably explains my affinity with Ducati and why I like Ducatis, because those are kind of like the Ferrari of the sport bike world, where MP Agusta is probably more of like the Pagani, right? It's more about the art of the motorcycles, obviously, as well as function, obviously. But they're pretty much pieces of art, if we're being honest. So that probably explains my relationship to the Ducati bikes. And don't get me wrong, I love the BMWs, I love the Aprilias, I love the Yamahas, the Suzukis, the Kawasaki's, all that stuff. But it's always a little bit different. With Ducati and, you know, the Ducati Red and stuff like that. So anyways, I've been a fan of Ferrari, watching Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel, both of which are no longer in F1. Kimi retired quite a while back. I believe it was like 2022 or something like that, or actually less, maybe even before that. I don't know if he was there for, yeah, it must have been like 2020 or like 2019 he retired. 2021 probably, because I remember he was there during the pandemic. And that was my favorite driver. It was Kimi Iceman Räikkönen. It was just an absolute beast. Didn't give a shit about any media stuff. The guy would answer your very complex questions with 2 words. He was from Finland, so I mean, it's kind of like the par is very Finnish. And he was an absolute beast of a driver. And that guy raced back with Michael Schumacher. The guy raced with Mika Häkkinen, and just absolutely dominated Formula One when he joined. And then Sebastian Vettel, obviously, if you know the sport, you know what he had accomplished. 4-time world champion with Red Bull. pretty much back to back to back to back, which we didn't see then later until Lewis Hamilton, and then before Sebastian, it was pretty much Michael Schumacher. But yeah, I've always been a Ferrari fanboy, and this year Ferrari finished second in the constructor. It was very close. That final race, Abu Dhabi. I mean, let's be honest, it was kind of a long shot for them to really take the constructors. And when I saw that first lap incident between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, I was like, maybe there's a chance. But bro, Carlos just couldn't catch Lando. Like, Lando was just at another league. He was pulling tremendous pace on that McLaren, which they've had all weekend, and quite frankly since the Miami Grand Prix. But this season was probably one of the best seasons to start watching. Like, if you are new to Formula One and you watched the 2024 season, you probably picked one of the best seasons in the most recent years to start watching, given just how many different race winners there were and how competitive the teams were. It got to a point where, dude, if you have not been up to date with Formula One, every year before this one, back up until like, I don't know, no, literally every year that I can remember, the constructors has always been pretty much in the bag, bro. Like, that wasn't even a chance. And even the driver's title, like, there was a point where we thought Lando could really take it from Max. But Max is just Max. You can't beat Max. But yeah, this season was pretty strong. I mean, most drivers were competitive. Alpine turned it around, surprisingly. I don't know how the hell they did that. Pierre Gasly managed to bring in so many points for that team, bringing them, I think, up to like 6 in the constructors when they were like basically dead last. I feel tremendously bad for Williams, but I think they should have gotten rid of Logan Sargent last year instead of renewing and extending his contract. And well, Franco Colapinto did the best job that he could being thrown into that seat the way they did. And Alex Albon did a pretty good job. So I think for sure the most surprising was McLaren. To see McLaren that competitive was an absolute shocker. When the season started, we didn't think it was going to be that close. We thought Max had pretty much won a lot of the starter races when the season started. And then Miami came around and everything changed from then on out. And the summer break came around and everything changed from then on out. So it's like, it's always been twists and turns. Shit, you had George Russell and Lewis Hamilton winning races in a Mercedes, which we thought wasn't going to be able to win a race this year. So overall, just a great season. I want to talk about going into next year. So we can more or less expect kind of what we saw towards the end of the season. I expect it to be definitely McLaren versus Red Bull. Although with that being said, it's that Ferrari, man. It's one of those things where you get your hopes up because they finish well, or maybe the preseason testing is going really good, and then we get into the season, it's like nothing but disappointment. Either the strategy fails. I mean, there's memes about this, guys. Like, there's memes about Ferrari and Formula One. Like, if you are a Ferrari fan, you are a masochist, because it's just a bunch of letdowns. And we were close this year, man. We were close. Second place, I mean, runner-up in the constructors, that's pretty good, given last year I'm pretty sure they finished third, or maybe second as well. But at least we were really close fighting, whereas last year and the years before, it was just nowhere near even close. 2025 is looking to be a very exciting year for Formula One, given how competitive these teams are. We're talking about Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari in red, that's crazy, against Charles, I can't say that name, against Chuck Leclerc. Against Charles Leclerc, and that's going to be an extremely fun matchup to see. I feel bad for Carlos because he's going to Williams, although, I mean, I don't think the Red Bull thing would have ever happened given the history they had with Toro Rosso, with Max and Carlos and their dads getting involved, which, by the way, bro, they gotta chill out, bro. Like, they're getting both Joss and Carlos Sainz Sr., they're very involved in their kids' career with, I mean, I understand, but goddamn, bro. Just chill a little bit, you know? It's a little bumpy. Why are you braking? There's no stop here. Do you guys see a stop? Bro, I'm telling you, people are fried. But anyways, as I was saying, 2025 is looking to be one of the most exciting years in recent history, apart from 2021, of course. Although 2021 didn't start exciting, it just finished exciting. If you know, you know. If not, just look up Formula 1 2021 and you will open up a can of wormholes for yourselves. But I'm excited to see what Lando and Oscar's relationship will be like, because they're both really competitive with that McLaren, and I feel Oscar has a very level head, and he can definitely outlast Lando in terms of like psychologically speaking. Lando, I feel like, is the quickest driver overall, but he's just very hard on himself, so I don't know how that will translate towards like maybe a championship fight or whatever the case may be. And we saw that this year, where he doesn't have that experience, and I mean, Max just basically bullied the shit out of him in the racetrack. But we're gonna see how that works out between teammates. Kimi Antonelli coming into Formula 1 is gonna be exciting. A brand new rookie, basically 1 year in Formula 2, straight into a Mercedes Formula 1 car. And they are saying that this kid might be the next Max Verstappen. So we'll see. That's going to be exciting to see versus George Russell, and how George navigates that water, because he's obviously the senior in that team. And then last but not least, like I mentioned, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari Red. Charles is like the dream boy of Ferrari. That guy's been there in the junior team for a while. And Lewis now coming in a 7-time world champion, arguably an 8-time world champion. It'll be interesting to see him adapt to that new environment after being in Mercedes for 12 years, dude. 12 years! That's crazy. I think it's the longest time any driver has been with one single team. It's nuts. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to make that video. And just for me, because it's something that I'm passionate about when it comes to motorsports and stuff like that. I really enjoy Formula 1. And I felt that if I can make a video about that, whether, you know, it reaches a smaller audience or not, it'll bring me out here to ride, talk about that. Because at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I want to talk about stuff, you know, that I find interesting, that I like. You know, whether it reaches a big audience or not, you know. I'll let the content be what the content is. And as one of the world's greatest producers said, Rick Rubin, he said, don't think of your content as to how it relates with your audience. Do content that you want to do, and eventually the audience will find you. But yeah, guys, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video and you guys are excited for Formula 1 or MotoGP, make sure to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe down for below, so that when this new season begins, turning the new year, we're all strapped in, ready to go. Not strapped on, relax. Strapped in and ready to go for this, hopefully, new and amazing season. New and amazing season. As MotoGP also has its own crazy things happening, as Marc Marquez going to the factory Ducati team and stuff like that. That's going to be awesome. And seeing Jorge Martin go to Aprilia and see what he can do. So with that being said, as always, guys, have fun, ride safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!